Hello, welcome to Veterans That Rock. This is our 14th episode. My name is Sailor Scott. I'm a United States Navy veteran and bass player for Mag Electric and Silver Dollar Generals here in the New York City metro area. And my co-host is...
Hey everybody, it's Zach Rabbit, the rock and roll machine from the Spires of HPG and also United States Air Force veteran here at the Veterans That Rock podcast. And I am also happy to not be the one doing Sailor Scott's opening duties.
Nice. So you're an Air Force vet, and so is our episode 14 guest.
Yeah, Sailor Scott. Like, this one I'm really excited about, honestly. We've wanted him on the channel for a while, but, I mean, there's been, a plethora of great guests on board over the last year and some change. But today's guest is Mr. Morgan Freeman. Roll the clip.
Get busy living or get busy dying. That's goddamn right.
Fun fact, Sailor Scott, the first time I actually saw The Shawshank Redemption, I was in North Korea on a short tour with the United States Air Force, and I didn't know that Morgan Freeman was in the Air Force. It's one that not many people talk about, I guess. While I was there was a Chuck Norris picture, though, because that's where he taught Taekwondo.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, that movie came out in 1994. I definitely saw it while I was in the Navy, because I know I saw it in like 96 or 97, and what a powerful movie that is. It's like, in my opinion, I don't know, I have some mixed opinions about my favorite Morgan Freeman movies, but I mean, he's just an incredible actor.
Yeah, it's really tough to choose because he really has done so many, and he's kind of a cultural icon. Yeah, the first time I actually heard about Morgan Freeman was in a little movie called Bruce Almighty, and I think we got a clip for that right here.
Yes.
Yo, I'm looking for whoever runs this joint.
Be right with you. I'm trying to fix a light. Tell me if it's working.
Yeah, seems to be. Kind of bright, though.
Yeah, it is for most people. Spend their lives in the dark, trying to hide from me.
Well, the elevator's broken, huh?
Yeah, but I'll get around to it.
You install the clapper?
No, but catch a jingle, isn't it? Clap on, clap off, clap on, clap off, the clapper. Just can't get it out of my head, man.
Well, good luck with that.
I think that's
Hey,
good.
the boss be right out. You must be Bruce. I've been expecting you.
This is hilarious. So you're the boss and the electrician and the janitor. Must be a killer Christmas party. Don't get drunk, though. One of you might need a ride home.
You always were funny, Bruce. Just like your father.
Yes, before you go off the rails, Zach, Morgan Freeman did join the Air Force in 1955. Right from graduating high school. He turned down a drama scholarship from Jackson State University, opting instead to enlist in the Air Force because of his love of planes.
Yeah, one of the things that I found really interesting in researching this episode was that he was a big fan of movies. This was post-World War II America, so, I mean, was it like James Poitier or Sidney Phillips or something like that?
No, that was Gary Cooper and Sidney Poitier. Zach, yes.
Okay, my bad. Yeah, but there's something about, like, he really enjoyed the fighter scenes and wanted to become a pilot. Like, it inspired him to become a pilot, right?
Yeah, absolutely. He definitely loved these post-World War II movies. At the time, I mean, I think most people, that was what was getting broadcast to a lot of Americans, was like these post-war movies were coming of age. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think, like, from what I could recall, like, it was a lot of like Western movies And then post the war, post World War One and World War Two, it was like less and less Western movies and more post war movies.
And the space age stuff coming up. But
Oh, of course.
yeah, I think it's interesting to kind of try and put yourself in his lens and viewpoint. It says he was born June 1st in 1937 in Memphis, Tennessee. He was the youngest of 5 children, I believe. And he lived there until the age of 6, where his mother moved him to his grandmother's in Mississippi.
Yes, when he joined the Air Force, he wanted to be a pilot, but then became a automatic tracking radar repairman. And what is that? Do we know what that is, Zach? Do you know what an automatic tracking radar repairman is?
So we do, and I'm going to read this verbatim for y'all because I actually have a friend who did this job. So an automatic tracking radar station was used for automatically aligning radar antennas towards an air target, such as an aircraft or missile, to continuously measure its location. The stations became obsolete and were closed in the early 1990s with the development of precision-guided munitions that use GPS, which is what I worked with. But I had a great friend in the military named TJ Hart who worked with radar, and I'd kind of heard this story before. Pretty incredible, That's a pretty cool job. He didn't do it very long, though. I have to ask that. So I read that he gave up a scholarship for acting because he did so well performing in high school plays, something he was very passionate about. He was given a full scholarship to the Jacksonville College, and I'm just curious, would you give that up to join the military?
Funny thing that you ask me that, because I had a similar trajectory into the military. I did not get a scholarship. I just signed up for a community college, that unfortunately my mother paid for, that I kind of goofed off and didn't really go. And then that's when my options became limited to like either military or try to find some 9-to-5 job. But yeah, that's crazy that he turned down a scholarship. I mean, to fight to, work in the United States Air Force for his country. Pretty astonishing.
Yeah, I also have a friend who kind of went the pilot route as well. And I read a great quote from Morgan Freeman. He said, "When I was getting close to being accepted for pilot training, I was allowed to get in a jet airplane. I sat there looking at all those switches and dials, and I got the distinct feeling that I was sitting in the nose of a bomb. You are not in love with this. You are in love with the idea of this." And the reason I found that quote so interesting was that it was pretty much what my friend Gerald said when he was learning to fly helicopters, and now you're saying that about yourself too. So it's crazy to me how people can have these dreams and desires and accomplish them and move forward onto other things. And to our audience out there, that's kind of the purpose of this channel, is to demonstrate to you you have the ability to make your life whatever you want once you get out of the military. If you want this kind of success, you can do that. The artist career field is still flourishing and thriving in its own ways. But looking to these celebrity veterans is a great tool and resource for you to chase your own dreams. Also to know that there's something to work forward to, not to get all preachy or anything, but it's just kind of crazy. This is the first example that we've had of someone who got what they wanted and was like, it's not for me.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman is like, I guess a role model to some extent. I feel like Morgan Freeman has like one of the best moral compasses on life, and values certain things in life, and it's always portrayed in a lot of his films.
And Sailor Scott talking about 101 movies. The interesting thing is he wasn't even a success at first. When he left, or when he was honorably discharged in 1959, he went to L.A. and he took classes at the Pasadena Playhouse, very revered university. And he also studied theater arts at the Los Angeles City College. But he didn't actually have a breakout role until he was 49 years old.
Yeah, so after California, Mr. Freeman moved to New York in 1967. And he landed a part in an African-American Broadway production called Hello, Dolly, starring Pearl Bailey. In 1971, he began appearing regularly on The Electric Company, which was a public television-produced children's TV show that taught kids to read. And we have a clip of him talking about that a little bit on the Jimmy Kimmel Show, I believe, from 2024.
Thinking maybe you'll one day you'll get that Electric Company afro you had in the 70s. Oh, that one, yeah. Oh, there it is. Will we ever see that again?
Wig!
That was a wig?
Of course!
The 60s, the 70s, all of the decades.
Yeah.
Do you feel like this is a more difficult time than any of those? Is it better? Are we just...
No, I think, to tell you the truth, I think we're living in the most dangerous times since we got attacked in 1941.
Wow. Yeah, that's your feeling on it.
Yeah.
And you're not a person who, I mean, you look to the future, which I think many people your age aren't necessarily that interested in, because...
I'm terribly interested in it.
Yeah. You support legalization of cannabis. I know that. That is something that you are involved with. You narrated Kamala Harris's video at the Democratic National Convention. Not only did you do that, you narrated Senator Hillary Clinton's video at the Democratic National Convention. You really want a female president, don't you?
I really do.
Yeah.
Don't think I'm, racist or anything like that. I'm not. Well, maybe to a point. But I think, it's time we moved on from old white men running the country.
Be a nice change.
Yeah.
Speaking of old white men, do you remember the first time you voted, and who was it for?
Roosevelt.
Or is this in the CRS category? Yeah.
No, it would have been Truman.
Yeah.
So it must not have been something that you were really looking forward to. Were you politically minded as a young man?
No.
When did it hit you?
I think it really started with, I got interested with Bill Clinton.
With Bill Clinton, he's the person. And did he personally get you involved, or you just saw him and thought, oh, that's a guy that
That's a guy that I think is gonna ride with us a while. And he's the second president I got to meet up close and personal.
Who was the first?
George
Washington?
Bush. You're quick. H.W.
He was the first president. Where did you meet him?
At the White House, right?
Well, I don't know. Have you since visited all the presidents at the White House?
Yes, all but one.
All but one. Which one?
I think that's really cool that he mentioned the bit about the presidents. He said that he met Clinton in, what did he say, 93, I think. But what I find interesting about that was, as I was saying, he was 49 years old when he made his big break in 87. And then just a couple of years later, he was Red in the Shawshank Redemption. So, once the ball got rolling for him, he really steamrolled ahead. And then there he is, 30 years later, kind of showing us a little bit of that inside look. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, really cool. He Yeah, I have to check out this other movie that came across our radar. Yeah, so Mr. Freeman's luck changed, and he landed a role alongside Superman actor Christopher Reeves in a film called Street Smart, where Mr. Freeman played a volatile pimp called Fast Black. The role proved to be a huge success for Mr. Freeman, earning him an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor. Since then, he's made 50 movies, which is, I mean, that's insane. And 2 years later, Mr. Freeman earned a Golden Globe Award for Best Actor and second Oscar nomination for his role in Chauffeur. Oscar nomination for his role as the chauffeur in the 1989 film Driving Miss Daisy.
It has to be said, that many films, that amount of work that he put into everything, he was still a very humble man. In 2011, he actually got the Lifetime Achievement Award from the American Film Institute. And I have a quote here from that around that time where he said, quote, "It didn't have to happen at all. I'm very lucky and very grateful that I had a career. If it happens right away, it's going to stop right away, and that's a foregone conclusion." So, just saying that it can all come to a crash, stop immediately. You never know. And anyone in the music business or in the artist fields knows that's what can happen, but it's the spirit that you have in yourself that can, prove to people that you're worth it. It's an interesting business, to say the least.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and his drive for, achievement, it was, still there. And yeah, he landed another great role, right, Zach?
Yeah, so I had heard of the movie, but I hadn't seen it myself. In 1992, he played in the movie Glory, where he portrays Army Sergeant Major John Rawlins. It's a historic drama about the 54th Massachusetts Infantry Regiment, the Union Army's second African American regiment in the Civil War. It was nominated for 5 Academy Awards. While it didn't turn out to be a major success, it did earn about $18 million back of its or $18 million above its initial budget. So it's become a runaway success. Morgan Freeman is actually even quoted as saying that this is one of his most meaningful roles. It was something that a lot of people saw, and they went up to him and said that they actually cried. And they cried because they were ignorant of the sacrifice that the African American soldiers went through when they were deemed able to fight. When the Emancipation Proclamation was released. So it's he said that it's a good thing for him. Well, I'll quote, "It's a good thing for me." So yeah, it was a big deal for the time, and we were just talking before the show about how it also has stars like Denzel Washington. Matthew Broderick plays Colonel Robert Shaw, who was the commander of that unit. And the fascinating thing about that is that he was a white man, and he was ridiculed, and a lot of problems ensued. It also was the Saving Private Ryan of its time. If you watch the beginning of the movie, it shows you realistic battle scenes from Antietam, which happened 2 years before the Battle of Gettysburg. It's worth a watch for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And, apologize for the sirens going off here in New York City. Maybe it's like one of those things where every time you speak Morgan Freeman's name, a bell rings.
Well, you know why that is, Sailor Scott? I think what it is a little bit of, I think what it is it's showing the future of Morgan Freeman's career when he starred in his probably most recognized role. Would you like to say what that is?
Yeah, of course. In 1994, Morgan Freeman and Tim Robbins did a film called The Shawshank Redemption, which we played a little bit of that from the beginning of our podcast today. Great movie. I've watched this movie multiple times. It's also another tearjerker for sure.
For those of you who don't know, The movie is about a prisoner named Andy Dufresne. The original story was written by Stephen King, and it follows Andy Dufresne's adventures, if you want to call it that, horrific adventures through a prison stay for
2 life sentences, right?
yeah, there's 2 left sentences because the evidence pointed that he killed his wife. There's a really great ending to that one. Morgan Freeman has a crazy line where he's asked why he's called Red, and he said maybe it's because he's Irish.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, very funny.
Yeah, I don't know. Do we have another clip from that? I think, is there one? For anybody who's seen Morgan Freeman, you know it's all about his voice, and this is the perfect representation. Here's a monologue from The Shawshank Redemption.
I could see why some of the boys took him for snobby. He had a quiet way about him. A walk and a talk that just wasn't normal around here. He strolled like a man in a park without a care or a worry in the world. Like he had on an invisible coat that would shield him from this place. Yeah, I think it would be fair to say I liked Andy from the start.
Yeah, the narration that Morgan Freeman does during this movie is phenomenal. And, it's like no nonsense. And it really gives his character Red a good balance with Andy's half glass full mentality. Yeah, basically Red is the yin to Andy's yang in this movie, where he never leaves his side. And while Red may not see Andy's vision at first, he also never doubts him, which is pretty amazing in this film.
Morgan Freeman has been doing this for so long. He's portrayed everything from presidents and kings to lowly beggars on the street to God. He was a huge part of the Batman Christopher Nolan movies. It's just incredible how far his range is. And I would go so far as to say he's a national treasure,
Yeah, funny you say that. I just rewatched this movie called Outbreak, where he is like a general in, I think, the Air Force, because he does fly a helicopter, where it's this, crazy movie about this, I believe this monkey brought back this disease, and, it's like a pandemic going on. Dustin Hoffman is in it, and he plays this like general, just has to like annihilate everything, it seems like, to save people from this outbreak. Yeah, what a vast role. And there's always like a message, and he always, I feel like, does movies where he is portrayed as like some sort of good person, and wants to portray that message outward.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman was actually the narrator for Life on Our Planet. It just even goes to show that in his philanthropy work, he is a very well-rounded person. It even touches on climate change and human pollution. I think we actually have a clip of that, if you want to show that.
One day, we will wake up to find that the energy that powers the alarm clock came from the breeze through the trees the night before. And we will go to work that morning riding the rays of the sun. It will light our cities and power our businesses. It will warm our homes and cool our workplaces. It will reduce sources of conflict and fuel our economies. It will connect us all. It won't scar the land or poison the seas. The food we eat will be good for our bodies and good for the planet.
Oh yeah, you did say that was Life on Our Planet, but I believe that was a video from the UN. It seemed like a very hopeful video for our future, which, big things need to change in order to try to achieve what's going on with that stuff. changing our planet. But Morgan Freeman, does narrate that, and like he does do a lot of philanthropy through a few organizations. Morgan Freeman is actively involved in philanthropy, focusing on education, disaster relief, and environmental causes, primarily through the Tallahatchie River Foundation and Plant, spelled PLAN''T. Now, Plant Now. He has donated to initiatives improving literacy in Mississippi, supporting ocean conservation with Oceana, and contributed to policing reform.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I kept seeing in the research involving the philanthropy work from his post-military service was that he still very deeply cares about the communities of Mississippi, and he's supported local institutions for years, and also the Mississippi Museum of Arts. So definitely a lover of culture, community, and those are all things, again, military aspects. That's how our culture works. Like, we work together to build the best world possible.
Yeah.
And this, well, sorry.
Yeah, really. I mean, a real
accomplish the mission. Sorry.
Yeah, a real team player. Morgan Freeman, Mr. Morgan Freeman, a real, team player, gives back to communities. Outstanding artist, if you will, and veteran, and he chose his art to be acting, and we've all benefited from it. I can tell you that.
Morgan Freeman is an artist in his own right, as Scott said. He chose acting to be that profession. I do music myself, and I know Sailor Scott does too, so I'd like to take a second to talk about what we're doing. Anything big going on with you, Sailor Scott?
Funny you should ask, Zach. Yes, my band, our three-piece rock and roll band, Mag Electric, just released a single last week called Dark Sun, which is streaming on all platforms, including YouTube. You could check out links to my band's and Zach's band in our description. We have links there, and also our Instagram handles are posted at the bottom of the screen here.
So that was the 14th episode of the Veterans That Rock podcast. We did Morgan Freeman, talked about how cool he was and everything like that. Next week we will have a brand new guest, and who's that going to be, Sailor Scott?
Yes, for March we are featuring Jennifer Marshall, who's a U.S. Navy veteran and an actor. She's been on Stranger Things as Max's mother. She's been on NCIS and Reacher. I love Reacher.
And as always, thank you so very much for being a part of this community. We are up to 500 subscribers. If there's something that you think we should do to celebrate, put it down in the comments. If there is an actor, musician, photographer, artist of a veteran variety, please put it down in the comments. We would love to talk with them and just keep growing this community of veterans that are doing art.
Yeah, and thank you all. Please subscribe, and we'll see you in March.